attempted to steal while he's been catching. 1-2 the count. Strike three call to the outside corner. For the first time this year, the Rocket has reached double figures. He's got a 2-hit shutout going. The top of the order coming up for the Yankees against Pedro. No score. Red Sox nothing. Yankees nothing. As we go to the last of the 6th inning, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Gum Out. And the top of the order coming up now for the Yankees against Pedro Martinez.
And Pedro went out before it. He's stretching, you know, after sitting for such a long period of time, waiting for the umpire to change and for Roger to retire the Red Sox in the 6th inning. And he goes out and you see trying to make sure he gets loose before he throws.
So a 14-minute delay after Pedro ended the 5th inning before Clemens went out to pitch the 6th inning. So it's been around 20 minutes since Pedro last threw a pitch. Chuck Knobloch, the leadoff man. Strike, and it's 0-1. Knobloch has fouled to first and lined to center.
Really affected him, John.
Yeah.
That first pitch fastball strike.
He just doesn't have it anymore. Marty Aronoff, who wants us to be always correct, says that it was actually 23 minutes since Pedro last threw a pitch.
Well,
until this one.
His fastball was 2 miles an hour. Well, he got it back up to 90.
One ball and 2 strikes to Knobloch. Jeter and then O'Neill to follow. 3 hits for the Yankees. Pedro with 4 strikeouts, rather 1 walk. Caught at first by Stanley. That was hit real hard.
Well, he's been feeding Knobloch a steady diet of fastballs in, out. He went in for strike 2 and he goes away trying to get strike 3, and he goes the other way right in the tip of the glove. Stanley holds on to it. Look at that. You can still see a little snow cone effect there, but he holds on to it, and that's the first out here in the 6th.
So tough luck there for Chuck Knobloch, one of the few to have even made hard contact tonight, but he gets nothing for it. Now Derek Jeter, who's had an infield dribbler for a hit, and then a pop fly along the right field line that fell for a double. He's 2 for 2. Strike on the outside. And Brian Runge taking over for Ed Rapuano. One strike to count. Low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. O'Neill on deck.
John, a lot of people are complaining because the Yankees are only playing .600 baseball and what's wrong with the Yankees, etc. I mean, I think it's very difficult to stay as hungry and keep your intensity after winning 2 world championships in a row.
That is foul.
I think they're pointing toward winning their 3rd championship in a row, but it's very hard just to keep that intensity day in and day out. I mean, I go back to the Chicago Bulls a couple of years ago. They looked like they weren't playing as good, and then as they got close to the end, everything seemed to pick up and they won another championship. And I think you'll see the Yankees, the intensity and everything else start to develop, in July, August, and September down the stretch.
The outside. That looked like that cutter that Pedro will throw. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Joe Torre's club, I mean, despite everybody being a little nervous here in New York, what's wrong with the Yankees? I mean, at their current pace, they would win 98 games this year.
Man.
Derek Jeter blown away. The 5th strikeout for Pedro Martinez.
And again, I don't think he or Garcia Parra has seen stuff like they're seeing tonight, and he was just overmatched there. This fastball, it looked like it just took off. I mean, this one looks like it explodes right at home plate, and it does. I mean, it says 92 miles an hour, but it just exploded like there's no chance for you to hit that pitch.
Well, Derek Jeter, who has begun his career like he may be one of the greats, but he looked overmatched against the great Pedro Martinez there. Strike 1 to Paul O'Neill, who has grounded into a double play and has struck out He's been on base twice he's been at bat twice with Jeter on base and was not able to move him up either time. Quickly, it is 0-2 to O'Neill. Checks the bat to make sure it's still all in one piece, and apparently it is not. He cracked the bat.
And what you see from Pedro here, with especially Paul O'Neill, he's staying on top of him with the fastball and then trying to get him to chase the changeup. And there you see what the Yankees have done so far this year.
And their runs per game 12th in the American League.
Well, I think the key figure, John, is this one, the on-base percentage. Last year, both Jeter and Knobloch were just constantly on base. And so far this year, they haven't done that. There's a long way to go. That once they get hot, I think the team will get hot.
0-2 to O'Neill with a new piece of wood. And that's into the upper deck foul. Real protective swing there by O'Neill. Well, that's true. I mean, the other thing with the Yankees is Knobloch, Jeter, and the whole lineup was filled with guys who worked the count. They drew a lot of walks, and they always had a real high on base average, but only 11th in the American League in that category so far this year. Sometimes that patience has not been there. For this edition of the Yankees. 2 down, nobody out. Change up in the dirt. Bernie Williams would be next.
And what you have to do now, if you're Martinez and you're Clemens, you're starting to get late in the ball game, and your fastball may lose a little bit of the zip. What you do not want to do is leave a ball inside to one of these left-handed hitters that they can pull. So you saw him go inside with 2 good fastballs, and then he started to go away on every pitch since then. See, now he's away again.
Strike 3 call. And O'Neill, very unhappy, fires the helmet away. 6 strikeouts for Martinez. We go to the 7th. The top of the Red Sox order up against the Rocket. The GM Goodwrench Service game summary. And there you see the totals. No runs, 2 hits for Boston. No runs, 3 hits for the Yankees. Pedro Martinez, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. And Roger Clemens, 10 strikeouts, no walks, including 7 strikeouts of the last 10 hitters. Derek Jeter has a 2-hit game going against Pedro. And there's a called strike to leadoff man Jeff Fry. Here we go to the 7th inning. The late innings now begin. 37-year-old Roger Clemens, who came up big in the postseason except for that one game. Although that's one game against the Red Sox and against Pedro, the one that everybody seems to remember. Runs inside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. But you may recall at Texas, he won the clinching game of the division series with 7 shutout innings. The Yanks won that game 3-0 to advance to the league championship series against Boston. Back to Clemens. Fry is 0 for 3 with 2 comebackers and a strikeout. We're watching 2 greats at the top of their game here tonight, and out in left field, many all-time Yankee greats are commemorated. Reggie Jackson, Billy Martin, Phil Rizzuto, number 10, Roger Maris, Elston Howard, Thurman Munson, and there's Whitey Ford. We talked about him earlier, the great Yankee left-hander, Yogi Berra. It's 0-1.
John, that reminds me that there you see the other great Yankees, Casey Stengel and the Mick, Joe D.
Joe DiMaggio. And of course the Babe. And Lou Gehrig, number 4 over there. The slider just off the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Trot Nixon, who has struck out looking and swinging. Of Clemens' 10 strikeouts, 8 have been on swinging third strikes, only 2 looking. Dahlbach on deck. No score, 7th inning. Left center into Death Valley. Leday. Not quite. Nixon to second. He's going for 3. The throw. He slides. Hey, safe. It looked to me like he started to call him out. John Sherlock, who was on the move, he started at first base, remember. We've only got 3 umpires working. He had to come completely across the infield and make that call, and he started to call him out and then changed it to save.
Well, yesterday, Ricky Leday made a great catch on a play just like that to save some runs. right here. He leaped out and made the catch yesterday, just over his head. And I thought it was worth the gamble for Nixon to try to get to third base with one out, even though it was a very close play. And here's the play at third base. Very close play at third base. Let's see if his left hand gets in there. Well, very close, and you see John Shulak right there on top of the play. So it had nothing to do with the fact that there were only 3 umpires. Shulak did a great job of hustling over there and getting into position. He was there.
Now the Yankees bring the infield in. Here is Dahlbeck, the third place hitter for Boston, with Garcia Parra on deck.
And the infield is going to play all the way in and try to cut this run off at the plate.
Dahlbeck is the second leading RBI man for the Red Sox so far this year, behind Carl Everett. He's got 33 batted in. So they got a chance here to get a run home without getting a base hit. The Red Sox get a runner to third base for the first time. In fact, they'd never had a runner anywhere but first base until here.
Well, we get another look at the play. You see, this is what John Shulak sees. And again, very, very close play. You just can't tell when the glove actually tagged him. And Roger Clemens thought he was out. He's going to give it the right hand, but John Shulak says no, Shulak was there.
Ball 1 to Dahlbeck.
And what you see from Roger Clemens here, he's going to try, if he's going to try to get ahead in the count, he'll try to stay down, and that was a splitter. He wants the ground ball. And if he happens to get 2 strikes, he may go for the high fastball to try to strike him out. But his main concern now is to keep the ball on the ground and keep it on the infield. Unless he gets ahead, and then he will go for the strikeout.
Trot Nixon has 3 triples this year now. Fastball, a strike at the knees. That one caught more of the plate than Posada had planned. He was well to the outside, and that one came back a little bit.
Well,
ball, 1 strike.
His concentration again is to keep the ball down, and I'm not sure he's not so concerned with Dahlbeck because he knows that Garcia Parra is not swinging the bat as well as he normally does. So if he does walk him, he doesn't really care. I shouldn't say he doesn't care, but it wouldn't be the worst thing to happen.
Dahlbeck has popped to short and been out on a check swing roller out in front of the plate. There's Garcia Parra on deck.
And normally you would never think of that, pitching around someone to get to Garcia Parra, but he just came off the disabled list yesterday, and he's just not used to seeing the speed of a guy like Roger Clemens right now.
The splitter in the dirt, 2-2.
Good smart pitching there, and great confidence in Posada to be able to block that ball. You have to have confidence in your catcher that he can block the ball if you do keep it down there.
The first scoring threat of the night for the Red Sox. Now Yankee Stadium tries to come to the aid of Roger Clemens with the huge roar with 2 strikes and 2 balls. Strike 3 on the outside.
I tell you what, John, it doesn't get any better than this. Roger Clemens pitching with a runner at third, and we saw Pedro pitching in the same type of situation. They make great pitches here. Now, remember I said he wants to keep everything down. Look at this. Right down, down, everything down. Strike 1 down. Now he gets him to chase the splitter here down. Now he comes up with a good splitter right on the outside corner down. Just great pitching there from Roger Clemens. If he would have swung at any of those pitches, put him in play, more than likely he was going to hit it on the ground, and that's what he wanted.
Well, now here's the American League batting champion from last year, Nomar Garcia Parra. Splitter in the dirt, and this is where Posada comes into play. Now he's got to be like one of those Stanley Cup Finals goaltenders. He's got to be able to block anything that Clemens throws up there to keep Nixon over at third. I mean, with Pedro on the mound, even though it's just the 7th inning, we could be talking game if a run scores here.
Well, I think every situation here has to be considered. This could be the ball game. Every pitch that Clemens makes and every pitch that Pedro makes from here on in, they have to think that way.
Garcia Parra has struck out twice in this game. Just back from the disabled list yesterday. The splitter in the dirt again, 2-0.
I tell you what, that was awfully close to being a wild pitch there. Posada tried to get down, but that one just kind of, he caught it right in the webbing of his glove. Watch this splitter. Now watch, he just barely gets it. See, there is an opening there. See that? But he catches in his glove. Great job. That looks like Martin Brodeur from the New Jersey Devils hockey goalie there.
You name dropper.
Yeah.
Big pitch now. 2-0 to Garcia Parra. Runner at third. 2 down. They're going in. Down and in. 2-1. Now Garcia Parra, you mentioned he just back, so he's not quite himself after being on the disabled list. On the other hand, he has never hit Clemens, even when he's had everything going. He has 3 hits in 24 career at-bats against Roger. And that splitter bounced foul. Now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And again, the huge crowd in the big ballpark rises.
And let's not overlook the fact that Rogers made great pitches to Garcia Parra tonight as well.
Nixon down the line from third with 2 down in the 7th. From the windup. 3-2.
Now this is a tough pitch for Roger to make because Carl Everett is on deck, and Everett does hit him pretty well. Everett's left-handed, of course, and he does have a base hit tonight. So you have to decide, am I going to go after Garcia Parra here, or am I going to try to make another perfect pitch?
Struck him out. The splitter in the dirt. Nixon is stranded at third. And that's 12 for the Rocket. Now Pedro heads back to the mound. Bernie Williams coming up. We're still scoreless in New York.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is brought to you by Gum Out. Drive your fuel system clean with a complete line of Gum Out Performance Fuel Additives. And in part by Mailboxes Etc. At Mailboxes Etc., we get it done and we get it done right. And by Minwax Wood Finishes. With Minwax, it's easy to make wood beautiful.
Bernie Williams, first ball swinging against Pedro with a fly ball to center. Waiting for it is Everett. And Bernie is retired with a 3rd consecutive time. 2 pop-ups, 1 to short, 1 to third, and now a routine fly ball to center. So Pedro continuing to take care of business on the other side of things. Less spectacularly than Clemens, with 6 strikeouts for Pedro versus 12 for Roger. Pedro's real crisis came in the 4th inning when Jeter led off with a bloop double. But he struck out O'Neill, he popped up Williams, and he struck out Posada. Clemens' first major crisis here in the 7th inning, a 1-out triple by Nixon, but Dahlbeck struck out, and so did Garcia Parra. That's a foul ball pulled up the first base side by Posada, who has struck out twice.
We're at the situation now where, John, I think if you're Pedro and you have all these left-handed hitters, Posada, Tino Martinez, and you just retired Bernie Williams and Paul O'Neill, you have to make sure you keep these guys from pulling the ball. And you saw right there, Posada pulled the ball because a short porch in right field would come into play very easily on a fly ball, just a routine fly ball to right field.
Too far in with the fastball. The 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th place hitters, those 4 lefties you're talking about, Joe, O'Neill, Williams, Posada, Martinez, are 0 for 10 tonight and have not reached base in any way. Hit sharply, but right to Fry. Posada is gone. 2 down.
Let's take a look at Roger Clemens with a runner at 3rd and 1 out in the 7th inning and how he got out of this. Here's Dahlbeck's pitch. Look at that. Just a beautiful pitch right on the outside corner and down. And Garcia Parra. But I have to give Posada all the credit in the world. He blocked 2 or 3 balls, and you have to have confidence in your catcher to be able to throw that pitch that he threw to Garcia Parra. So they worked well together there, Posada and, of course, Roger Clemens.
Tino Martinez, change up too low. Tino, another one of those guys with great power. He says it's kind of got him down a little bit, Joe. He's only got 4 homers. He says he sees guys all around the league with 8, 9 homers. He says it wears on him a little bit. Deep right field. Nixon on the warning track waiting for it. 7 scoreless innings. A 6-pitch inning for Pedro. 8th inning coming up. Carl Everett coming to bat against Clemens. No score.
This is the story of an intrepid entrepreneur.
Everywhere you look, it's Trump this, Trump that, Trump, Trump, Trump.
I consider myself to be a great builder. I build great things.
The story of a man with great passions. For some, a megalomaniac. For others, a visionary. Donald Trump. True Hollywood Stories, Thursday night at 7 on the Hollywood Channel.
Yankee Stadium in New York. 55,000 plus here at Yankee Stadium. And we have a 0-0 game. Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez. Unlike that playoff game last October, which many billed as the matchup of the century, this one has been delivering the goods.
And let's take a look here at this last swing by Tino Martinez. Look at that. I mean, right there, he's on the sweet part of the bat, just underneath it, just a little bit. I mean, it's only a 16th of an inch difference between a home run and a long fly ball like that.
Carl Everett, he is the Red Sox home run and RBI leader. The former Yankee who felt he never got a shot, a real shot, in the Yankee system. Back to the screen, and quickly is behind Clemens 0-2. Roger Clemens tonight with 12 strikeouts in 7 innings. That's the most he's ever had since coming to the Yankees. The 95th time in his career that he's had 10 or more in a game. He's 2 behind Sandy Koufax in that category. And no walks. Off the outside. 55,339 is the paid crowd. Tied 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now, this is the first time that Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez, these 2 great pitchers, have ever been matched up against one another in regular season play. It's been worth the wait. No score, 8th inning. The splitter too low. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
John, I know a lot of people like to see the 10-9 games, like to see the home runs. They like to see all those long balls, but I tell you what, this is a baseball game. You're seeing 2 pitchers at the top of their craft, and you're seeing the hitters trying to deal with them.
The dangerous Everett, 3-2 the count. Struck him out. He came after him with the rocket fastball, number 13 for Roger Clemens.
And John, that's 3 in a row again. I mean, he just throws this ball right by him, and I think, again, the fear of the splitter that he's had all night keeps Everett from jumping out here on the fastball, and you see just a little late on it. He's behind this fastball. This one's by him. Watch, you'll see. See, he's a little late on it. But the fear of the splitter and the fear of Pedro's changeup is making their fastballs more effective, because you have to wait just a split second longer.
There's that splitter. Stanley, it's 0-1. Well, it was 3-2 to Garcia-Parra in the 7th inning, and he threw him the splitter with a runner at 3rd.
Well, you have to know that he has that, and a hitter in the back of his mind is there. So you say, I got to see the ball. I can't go out there too quickly on the fastball, and he throws the fastballs right by you.
1 strike to Stanley. 0-2 in the game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stanley struck out to end the 2nd inning. He flied out to shallow left center in the 5th inning. 13 strikeouts for Roger Clemens in 7 1/3 innings. Stanley with power. Just missing inside. Maybe a little high. 2-1. Uh-oh, Joe. They did not bring enough Ks. His Yankee career strikeout high was 11. They brought 11 Ks tonight.
Well, at least they're hanging some Red Sox out to dry. That works.
2-1 the count to the dangerous Stanley. Slider, 3-1.
Well, I think you see the respect that Clemens has there for Stanley, who is a good fastball hitter, as you noted earlier. he doesn't want to give him a 3-1 fastball that he could jerk, so he comes with a slider and he misses. I think he just about has to give him a fastball now, although you've got Troy O'Leary on deck. Stanley doesn't run that well, so having him at first base is not all that bad.
3-1. Broken back. Derek Jeter. 2 down. The gum out in-game box score for the Red Sox. Trot Nixon with that triple in the 7th inning. Carl Everett with a 2nd inning single. He got picked off. Valentin a 6th inning single. He was thrown out on a busted hit and run play. And that's it. No other hits, no other base runners for the Red Sox. Clemens has faced only 1 hitter over the minimum. Here is Troy O'Leary. O'Leary is the 25th Boston hitter of the game. Clemens has struck out 13 of the first 24 that he's faced tonight. O'Leary has flied to right and struck out. Another dangerous hitter. 2-0.
And I think this is the time of the ball game when both guys are looking at the batting orders and saying, which guys do I fear the most in this order? Which of these guys can drive the ball out of the ballpark and hurt me? And I think that Clemens realizes that O'Leary can do that.
3-0.
And I think you're right here. It's 3-0. I think if you're Jimmy Williams, you have to let O'Leary take a swing at this. And I think Roger's aware of it, that John Valentin's on deck. Not that he's a weak hitter, but he's right-handed, and that gives you a better chance of keeping the ball in the ballpark.
3-0 the count. And that's exactly what happened. And Clemens did not groove one in there. It's just a pop foul into the seats on the first base side. 3-1.
Well, to be honest with you, John, I think Roger got a little lucky there because that ball was out of the strike zone. He came after him with a fastball, but he got it up just enough that O'Leary couldn't get to it. But you see he was trying to pull it, and he was trying to dial long distance there.
Pedro Martinez just matching zeros so far with Clemens. Hoping for a run. 2 down, nobody on.
Splitter. You see, this is just great pitching. Roger says, I gave you the fastball up and out of the zone. You went after it. Now I'm going to take a chance to make a good pitch. And there it is, the splitter. And O'Leary way out in front, which he should have been. He should have been looking for a fastball.
13 strikeouts for Clemens. Popped up. Jeter. The inning is over. Roger Clemens as good as he's ever been at age 37. Matching zeros with Pedro. Last of the 8th coming up. Pedro Martinez locked in a classic here with Roger Clemens. Last of the 8th inning. Pedro, who was 23-4 last year. Cy Young winner in the American League, facing Shane Spencer. Strike on the outside. It's 0-1. Spencer is the only hitter on either team who's drawn a walk tonight. He walked leading off to third, but he never got any further than first base. He's also flied out to center. He's 0 for 1. And the curve low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, there have been some great classic matchups over the years. One of the greatest involved the Red Sox all the way back in 1912, the year that Fenway Park opened. 2 greats went one day in Boston. Walter Johnson in the Hall of Fame and Smokey Joe Wood. That's a foul back out of play. Both of them won 30 games that year. And they set up a matchup. They moved Smokey Joe Wood ahead a day so that he could face Walter Johnson. And they sold out Fenway. They had standing room. They had people on the field with ropes up in front of the outfield walls. So many people wanted to see that game. Struck him out. Number 7 for Pedro Martinez.
And he set him up. He threw him a couple of fastballs. Now here's a breaking ball. This is just a beautiful curveball. He drops down a little bit, and it just breaks way off the plate. And watch, he drops down a little bit more than normal, and he gets a good break on the ball. And as you said, that's his 5th strikeout. 7th strikeout. I'm sorry.
As I said, 7.
Yeah. Hey, John, I went 1, 2, 3, 4,
I know that.
And I went backwards again.
There've been a lot of strikeouts today.
This is exciting. Let me put a 7 over here, John.
Yeah. Catch up.
All right, I'm up now. I'm up to date.
20 strikeouts in the game.
Who won that game? Walter Johnson and Smokey.
The final score, that great epic pitching matchup in 1912, 1-0. The Red Sox won it. And it was the 14th win in a row for Smokey Joe Wood. That was the two meeting before that game. Smokey Joe Wood of the Red Sox on the left. The duel of the year, and the Red Sox won it 1-0. And Smokey Joe Wood went on to win 16 in a row, which is still an American League record for a single season. Earlier that same year, Walter Johnson had won 16 in a row. So they gave the big train, Walter Johnson, a chance to keep Smokey Joe Wood from getting that record that day. But Smokey Joe beat him 1-0. It was one of 26 losses in Walter Johnson's career when he lost 1-0. I mean, 26 times he lost 1-0. He also won 38 times 1-0. Walter Johnson. Well, we've got one of those epics going on here tonight. The first regular season matchup between Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens. Leday, a pop fly along the left field line. That is when we drop back in amongst the spectators as O'Leary gave chase from left field. 3-2 the count to Leday. And
John, I tell you something. I'm seeing the difference in the maturity in a guy like Pedro Martinez, who is just a great pitcher. As I said, a very smart pitcher. What he's done here in this inning, he's gone to the breaking ball. He's been using the changeup and the fastball. This inning, he's gone to more curveballs. He struck Spencer out with a curveball. He's thrown a couple of curveballs to Leday, but he's using his whole repertoire, and he's a guy that every pitch is a quality pitch.
Left field. Going back is O'Leary. But that's Death Valley at Yankee Stadium. That's the place to make him hit it. O'Leary catches up to it. It is 399 feet to left center. And not quite as deep to straightaway left where he hit that one, but plenty deep enough. Here's the gum out in-game box score for the Yankees. Jeter with 2 hits, a single and a double. An infield single and a bloop double. Ricky Leday with a base hit to right. Those are the only hits for the Yankees. The only other base runners, Spencer with a 3rd inning walk. The Yankees have only been able to move up 1 of their 4 base runners, even 1 base. That was Leday, who stole 2nd in the 5th inning. Since he stole 2nd, Pedro Martinez has retired every other Yankee hitter. 9 in a row now since that base hit in the 5th. Here's Brocious. He's popped the 1st and popped the 2nd.
And you see him using the breaking ball here again. I think he's just so smart, because every time he's changed, he's used changeups, he's used fastball. Now he goes to the breaking ball with certain hitters here late in the ball game.
By the way, the Yankee bullpen is busy. They're in the 8th, scoreless. That curve hangs high on the inside. 2 balls and a strike. In the Yankee bullpen, the Yankees' great closer, Mariano Rivera, talking there with Tony Cloninger, the bullpen coach. Now, Clemens is up over 100 pitches in this game, but usually Rivera gets up just in case the Yankees get a run to go ahead. Clemens is at 112 pitches. Oh, man. Fastball right on the outside, right at the knees. 2-2 to Brocious.
It's not just that they both have good stuff. They're just making quality pitches. Brocious had to count 2-1 in his favor. He's looking fastball. What does Pedro do? He paints the outside edge with a fastball.
2-2, 2 down. Brocious fights it off back into the upper deck.
And John, the fact that Mariano Rivera is up, what that really does is tells Pedro, you better not make a mistake now. You make any mistake and the ball game could be over, because Rivera usually comes in and just shuts the door.
He's been the best in the business. Struck him out. Number 8 for Pedro Martinez. And he's been getting better as the game has gotten longer. He's retired 10 in a row. 9th inning coming up. No score. No score. Top of the 9th inning, Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens. And this has been one to remember. Coming up next, SportsCenter. Stay tuned after the ball game. The Indy 500. The Lakers-Blazers, a Game 4 breakdown, and the Sunday conversation with Pedro Martinez. Charlie Steiner chatting with Pedro. Dan Patrick and Stuart Scott have it all for you. SportsCenter right after the game. Here's John Valentin now. 9th inning. Valentin, who's been hurt most of this year, has played very little, but he is a very big threat.
Definitely a big threat, because Valentin is a smart hitter. He gets you in a position where he gets a hitter's pitch, and he can drive the ball out of the ballpark.
Clemens' former teammate, John Valentin.
Like
He's
that.
going for it right there.
And John, I tell you that Roger has not pitched a complete ball game this year, so here he is in the 9th inning. Pedro has pitched 2 complete games. And this is what, he's not trying to hit a single here, but that ball's up just enough that he can't get to it.
Clemens is at 114 pitches thrown in this game. The most he's thrown in a game for the Yankees this year is 125. 1-1 to Valentin. The splitter too low. Valentin played only about 2/3 of the season last year because of various injuries, but he saved his best home run hitting for the league championship or the division series against Cleveland. He had 3 homers and 12 RBIs in that best-of-5 series with Cleveland. He also had a home run against the Yankees in the league championship series. Right to second. 1 hop for Knobloch. 1 away. Now Varitek.
Valentin got another fastball, but I don't think he was sure it was going to be a fastball. He was a little late on it, but he hit it hard.
Varitek hit 20 home runs last year. I mean, the 9th place hitter is a home run threat. He has struck out twice in this game. 13 strikeouts, no walks for Clemens. He's gone to a 3-ball count 8 times, but no walks. Varitek with a bunt. Clemens with the bare head pickup. 2 away. Thank you very much.
Exactly. I would say Roger's appreciative of that.
The pitch count is growing. You got that home run porch in right field beckoning, a left-handed hitter, and he bunts.
And you got a right-handed hitting Jeff Fry up, so this helps Roger. Roger's quickly over. He has plenty of time, as you can see. And Varitek is out.
I mean, and Jeff Fry is not a real big threat to have gotten Varitek home from first base. Fry, who has 13 home runs in his entire major league career. That one hit Fry. Or did it hit Fry, or it hit the bat? The play umpire, Brian Runge, said it hit the bat. Here comes Jimmy Williams.
Well, the ball certainly appeared to hit Fry, but you know, the home plate umpire Runge is closer to it than we are.
This argument has been going on. Went over to get checked out by the trainer.
Well, it had to hit him because the ball ricocheted away from Posada. Posada would have caught that ball otherwise. It hit something. Let's put it that way. It may have hit the bat, but it definitely hit something. It may have hit the knob or hit the handle. Let's take another look. But it definitely hit something because it ricochets away from Posada. Hit the knob.
Hit the knob.
Well, it either hit the knob, I can't really tell. It may have hit him on the side of his finger. You can't tell from there, but it probably hit the knob.
Off of Clemens. Brocious, no play.
Well, I think he'd rather have a base hit anyway.
The 4th hit for the Red Sox. Pedro Martinez, who will have to face the top of the Yankees batting order in the last of the inning, looking on.
This ball is hit right back through the middle. Roger gets a glove on it, but it bounces away from him. He's looking for it. Roger doesn't know where it is. He thought he still had it.
So Fry is at first. Remember, the Red Sox playing without Jose Offerman. who's on the disabled list. Fry has not so much as even attempted a steal this year. Here's Nixon, who hit a triple in the 7th inning. The Yankee Stadium crowd with the "Let's Go Yankees" cheer echoing through the historic old ballpark. 1 ball and no strikes to Trot Nixon. He is 1 for 3 in this game and 3 for 8 lifetime against Clemens. And amongst those 3 hits, tonight's triple and also a home run against him last year. Posada out to talk to Clemens.
And I think he went out, John, because that last pitch bothered him. That's probably one of the worst pitches that Roger's thrown tonight. The ball got up and away from him, which tells you that maybe he's tiring a little bit and he didn't bend enough. And Posada wants to make sure, because at this point of the ball game, you do not want to make a mistake.
That was the 120th pitch thrown by Clemens. You see it there. 2 down, 9th inning. No score. Both bullpens are quiet. The splitter, strike call to the outside. Third baseman Scott Brocious is over protecting the foul line behind third. There you see him on the left-hand side of the screen. Dug out of the dirt by Posada. 2 balls and a strike.
And you see what Posada did there. He went out there and he talked to Roger about that high fastball. So he wanted him to throw a couple of splitters to make sure he, got his body through and finished the pitch off. And he did so.
And when you talk about that body, Joe, you talk about a 37-year-old body
that he keeps in great shape.
2-1. Deep and on its way. It is no longer a scoreless game. A 2-run homer for Trot Nixon. And the Red Sox fans at Yankee Stadium suddenly make the big noise. Trot Nixon follows up his 7th inning triple with a 9th inning 2-out homer. His 6th home run of the year. And his 2nd against Clemens in 9 career at-bats against him.
Well, he missed with it. He got the count to 2-1, and Nixon was sitting on the fastball. Now watch, he gets the fastball pretty much in the middle of the plate. It's pretty much middle of the belt, high, and the middle of the plate. And I mean, he gets all of it. I mean, there's no doubt. Look at that. Nice rock back, great extension. That one's gone.
Now Dahlbeck, strike called. Dahlbeck is 0 for 3. So the 2-out infield single by Fry after the argument about whether he was hit or not is what gets it started in the 9th inning. And now it is the Boston bullpen that gets up.
And John, what happens is you lose just a little bit off your fastball. I know the gun is saying 93 miles an hour, 94, but that means that you've lost a little of the hop off your fastball. But I mean, that happens anyway. You can't throw 125 pitches without losing a little something.
Knobloch will be leading it off in the last of the 9th. Pedro Martinez with a 2-0 lead now, and Derek Lowe, the closer, up in the bullpen. Knobloch, Jeter, and O'Neill. Last chance for the Yankees. High above Yankee Stadium, the view of what has been the house of thrills tonight from the Gumout aerial cam. And now Pedro Martinez, the successor to Roger Clemens. Clemens has won more Cy Young awards, emblematic of pitching magnificence, than any pitcher in history. But at 37 years old, Clemens was brilliant for 27 batters, and then an infield hit and the home run. And now Pedro, the 28-year-old Pedro Martinez, tries to wrap up yet another win. Martinez carries a 1.06 earned run average. That's earned runs per 9 innings into this inning. And the Yankees need 2 runs to stay alive as Knobloch takes a strike. That was the 111th pitch thrown by Pedro. The most he's thrown in a game this year is 130. In one of his losses, he lost 1-0 to Tampa Bay. Off the glove. Veritek. 0-2 the count to Knobloch. Trot Nixon. Peter Pasquarelli made a sign after that home run by Trot Nixon. The sign said, "Nixon's the one."
And that's true if you're a Red Sox fan. I think that's the way they feel right now. But Pedro has to finish it off. It's not over yet.
Knobloch is hit. That's not the way he wanted to get aboard. But that's not what Pedro wanted to have happen with a 2-run lead. And the big guys coming up. Jeter, O'Neill, and Williams. He had an 0-2 count on him, and he hit him.
Well, that's what we talk about a lot of times. You know, they talk about pitchers hitting guys. You know Pedro didn't want to hit him. He looked like he was just trying to throw a fastball. It sailed away. He was trying to throw a fastball in. It got up and away. And he hits Knobloch.
Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach, looking on from the dugout. Jeter, the hitter, the possible tying run. He's had an infield single and a bloop double tonight. He's also struck out. He jammed him with a fastball. It's foul.
That's the pitch he was actually trying to throw to Knobloch there. 0-2, run the fastball in.
Chuck Knobloch, the first Yankee to reach base since a 2-out 5th-inning single by Ricky Leday. Pedro had retired 10 straight Yankees since then. But Knobloch is aboard. 0-1 to Jeter. Base hit.
As I said, John, this one's not over yet.
Here comes Jimmy Williams. He's got Derek Lowe ready in the bullpen.
Well, it's a fastball away, and Derek Jeter does a great job of just slapping it the other way for a base hit. And the Yankees have the tying runs aboard. Well, I think what we're doing here, you see Jimmy Williams, he's going to go out and look Pedro in the eyes, and he wants to know, what do you think? Because here, this is a situation where I think that a lot of times a manager will say, I'm going to take you out, although he's not going to take him out. There are times during the year where a manager will say, you pitched great, I'm not going to let you lose this ball game. I'm only going to take you out and give you a chance to win it, and you've got your stopper low in the bullpen. But he has so much confidence in Pedro that he's going to leave him in, and I'm sure Pedro looked him in the eyes and said, I'm okay.
Sports Center, right after the game. Stay tuned. Paul O'Neill, like Roger Clemens, 37 years old. Now he tries to rise to the occasion again. 2 men on, nobody out. He is 0 for 3 tonight. 0-1.
Well, that's a great pitch there. But I tell you what, it's tough to have to get Paul O'Neill out this many times in this many plus situations, John. I mean, he is a smart hitter. He's a pretty good guy that he knows what he's doing up there. And you see what Pedro's numbers. Only 4 base hits. He's still throwing well. That ball just tied Paul O'Neill up.
Nobody from the number 3 hitter, the number 3 hitter O'Neill, through the number 6 hitter has been on base for the Yankees tonight. Foul on the first base side. It is 0-2. O'Neill is 0 for 3. Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, Tino Martinez. They're all 0 for 3. All 4 of them. All left-handed swingers and all hitless tonight against Pedro Martinez. There's Bernie on deck, the Yankees' RBI leader this year. O'Neill with 4 hits in 26 lifetime at-bats against Pedro Martinez. He's hit a double play ball and has struck out twice tonight. Knobloch and Jeter the runners. Fought it off back into the upper deck. Older brother Ramon feeling the heat right along with Pedro. The big ballpark in the Bronx. A classic has been unfolding through the night. And how could Jimmy Williams do anything but let Pedro finish in what may end up being one of those legendary games that we'll be talking about for years. 0-2.
Man.
Strikeout number 9 for Pedro Martinez.
You know what? Maybe when Jimmy Williams came out there, Pedro just got mad. I mean, he got mad at Jimmy for coming out. And I mean, he has showed us tonight that, I mean, when the runners are on scoring position, he gets tougher. He's not striking out a lot of hitters like he normally does, but in clutch situations tonight, he has been able to reach back and strike out the hitters that he's needed to strike out.
Now Bernie Williams, the Yankees cleanup hitter. Their home run and RBI leader. Tonight 0 for 3. And the count 0-1. Bernie has popped up to short, popped up to third, and popped up a fly ball to center.
And he's pitching Bernie and Paul O'Neill exactly the same way. He's trying to tie them up inside to keep them from extending out and being able to pull that ball to right field. Back inside.
Down the right field line. Into the corner. It is caught in front of the wall by Trot Nixon. Nixon is again the one. Knobloch to third after tagging up. Bernie fell a little bit short of that fabled home run porch at Yankee Stadium.
Well, actually, John, that was just a ballpark scare because he jammed him really nice. He got the fastball in. As I said, he's trying to keep him from extending. Watch, this fastball gets in. He actually breaks his bat in there. And that ball is inside, and he knows that he is down the line, but he didn't get much of it. He got jammed. That was just a great pitch.
Well, they all may wish that this was back into the configuration in the days of Ruth and Mantle and Maris, when it was 296 feet down the right field line.
Well, again, that was just a ballpark scare. That was a great pitch by Pedro.
Jorge Posada having the great year. A magnificent game for him tonight, working with Roger Clemens. Now he needs to do it with the bat. And he takes aim at that home run porch.
Well, he's aimed at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball right there, too, John.
Pedro obviously has plenty left.
Well, he definitely did on that, but I think Pedro can, as they say, see the goal line. I think he's going to reach back and give you what he's got left.
Looking for his third complete game of the year. His second shutout, if he can get it. Knobloch at third, the first Yankee to reach third tonight.
That's it. He's just going to reach back and say, okay, I'm going to give you what I got left. See if you can catch up with this high fastball. And there's a 96, now 94. He only needs one more of those.
Pedro has thrown 13 pitches in this inning, 12 strikes. The only one out of the strike zone was the one that hit Knobloch. Knobloch at third, Jeter the possible tying run. At first, Jeter running. The throw down. He's in there. And now a base hit to the outfield to tie the game.
And that's a smart base running play, a smart play by Joe Torre and Derek Jeter. Because Pedro Martinez wasn't concerned with Jeter right there. All he wanted to do was throw that last fastball by Posada. And he threw it hard, but he did not get the strike. Look, I think you've seen Pedro, he just reaching back and said, all right, this is what I have left. I'm not going to lose this on an off-speed pitch. I'm not going to lose it by hanging something. So he was just trying to throw a strike or get Posada to chase something. Very close play at second, except Garcia-Parra did not make the catch.
I'll tell you what, Vertek's throw kind of tailed away and low. Knocked down over there by Garcia-Parra. There is Knobloch and the possible tying run over at second, Derek Jeter. But Posada with 2 strikes against Pedro Martinez. 2 down.
And that's all he's doing.
He's still giving it the big rip up there.
Yeah, he is, but Pedro's saying, I'm coming after you. If you want to hit me, you go ahead and hit this big fastball. The one thing that he didn't do with that pitch, he didn't get it up. I think he wants to throw the fastball about letter high and just turn it loose.
Pedro with 10 strikeouts or more 6 times in his first 9 starts. In this one, he's got 9 strikeouts. 2 on, 2 out, 2-0 Boston. That hit him. The second hit batsman of the inning with 2 strikes. And now Tino Martinez with a chance to be the hero for the Yankees.
Well, I think Posada, it just upset when he got hit because I know he doesn't feel like Pedro was throwing at him. He's trying to throw the fastball up. He wants to throw this fastball up for strike 3 up and in, and Posada can't get out of the way. It hits him on his left elbow.
Scoring runs has been a problem for the Yankees all season long, particularly lately. They have not been able to score one tonight, and now their best chance as they are on the brink of extinction in this game. And Tino Martinez, he was a World Series hero in 1998. 0-1.
You know what I didn't understand, John, is he kept throwing from the stretch there with Posada, and I didn't understand why he didn't go to the windup after Jeter stole second base. Now he's going to the windup here with Tino Martinez at the plate. I thought he should have gone to the windup against Posada.
Tino hit one deep to right his last time. Has also flied out twice to center from the windup. Right to second. Foul. He double clutched and got him anyway. Wow.
Wow is right.
What happened?
John, I broadcast the game 2 weeks ago with Kevin Brown and Randy Johnson, and I thought that was a great ball game, and it was. Both of them pitched great. But tonight's game, these guys they were magnificent, both of them, and it was just a bad situation that Roger made one bad pitch and it cost him.
Those historic rivals, the Red Sox and Yankees, at the historic ballpark, and an historic matchup. 2 of the very best in the game.
And John, after he got the runners on base, he didn't throw anything but a fastball. He went to all fastballs, no changeups. And you see Fry, I don't know what happened. I guess he didn't have a good grip on it. And then he made the throw. Here's Ramon. He said, yes, we got it. But I mean, he just reached back after he got the runners on base. He just reached back and threw all fastballs. He gave them everything he had left, and it was enough.
So they gave us a night to remember. Baseball's version of a night to remember. And Pedro Martinez, at 28 years of age, is the one who had just enough left with 2 down in the 9th to beat the 37-year-old Clemens, who could not get that final out and preserve the shutout. We'll see you next Sunday. SportsCenter is next. Good night from New York.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Part of the Go Network, go.com.